So I want to remind our audience that this year Kyiv hosts the third Crimean Platform Summit in a hybrid format, and on August 23rd, expert discussion of the Crimean Platform took place. On October 24th, 2023, the parliamentary summit of the Crimean Platform will take place in Prague, it's Czech Republic, for the second time. And I recall our audience that the Crimean Platform is an international consultation and coordination format initiated by Ukraine aimed at improving the effectiveness of the international response to the occupation of Crimea, responding to the growing security threats, increasing international pressure on Russia, preventing further human rights violation and protecting the victims of the Russian regime, and also the achievement of the main goal is the deoccupation of Crimea and its full return to Ukraine. So I would like to start our conversation with the information that during the second summit last year, Ukraine increased the number of participants in this platform and expanded the geography of participants, including the countries of African continent and so-called the other side of the Atlantic. So I want to ask you how it helps, according to the situation with African countries and with their double position towards Ukraine and towards Russian position at the war, how it helped the situation with the Crimea platform right now?
I would say that in these dramatic circumstances of the full-scale Russian aggression, it somehow helps Ukraine to reach out to the, I would say, non-Western countries, right? Because some people find this term Global South being like colonial or post-colonial, so therefore I would avoid this term. But still, I mean, if you look even in the voting at the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, for the resolutions related to Ukraine and to Crimea precisely, you can see that the number of those countries, non-Western countries, who support Ukraine and holds this pro-Ukrainian position increased significantly. And how it helps, like the very easy answer is that it shows that Russia becomes more and more isolated. It's not only isolated with this aggressive attitude and violation of territorial integrity of Ukraine within Western countries that perceived to be kind of pro-Ukrainian or Ukraine is pro-Western in turn, but also among those countries who were very close to Russia since even 1960s, I would say. And in those countries, maybe I would go too much into details, but just to say that in those countries that are post-colonial, that were Western colonies, there's this strong attitude towards Russia, positive attitude, as anti-imperial force, which sounds ridiculous for Ukraine. And that's part of our efforts as well. We try to convey this message that Russia isn't anti-imperial, it's absolutely imperial, it's the last empire. And the aggressiveness of Russia shows this colonial. And Crimea, by the way, is a perfect case to show this, because now Russia is committing crime of colonization of Crimea. And it's not just, you know, some words like to be very loud or to be very, you know, impressive to impress the audience, but that's just the legal fact. Russia colonizes Crimea, and it cannot be anti-colonial. So to emphasize this within the whole world, not only within Western countries, which are perceived sometimes really negatively among those non-Western countries, is one of our aims. And of course, it's a sign of Ukrainian win, Ukrainian further victory, is the fact that we have like more and more countries who hesitating to show up with Russia like anywhere, like within various formats at the various countries, within various summits, et cetera. We still have a long way to go, but I think that Ukrainian work in these terms is really significant. It's about Crimean Platform summits, where we have African countries, Central American countries, countries from Persian Gulf, for instance, in this summit.